Excellent. Well, thank you so much all for joining. I am Valentina. Well, everyone in this group somehow have interacted with me, so you know me. And what I wanted to do today is to share a bit of what has been a beautiful path, I would say, a bit crazy, over the last, it started a year ago, but it really escalated over the last 3 months. But the most important message, and I will start with the end, it is self-love. Yes, and I know that lots of people are connecting with spirituality through different paths. Some of them is because they started the quest of there must be something else than just us. Other ones always have been connected, but usually through perceiving entities, or having a lot of trauma in their life. Others just were activated with gifts. But somehow all those paths end up being the one path to enlightenment. Yeah, which is sort of bringing the understanding of what has been happening to us as humans, in this life, but also as souls, starting connecting with other incarnations, and also then with the multidimensional us. And the message of self-love came as there. Although it's funny that I work with a lot about self-love, but up to this point, self-love was much more connecting with like really being compassionate to myself. And what it has come quite clear, it is that self-love really, it is the key to pick up on everything that this body creates. Yeah, and I'll move into that subject right now. So self-love is about accepting and embracing everything that we have experienced in this life. And from loving and embracing everything that we have experienced, yeah, which means also acceptance of everything that we have experienced in this life, it means that we are also taking ownership of the creative power that belong to us. Yeah, and this is the second concept that I also would like to share before I share a bit the story. This physical form is a perfect machine. You're hearing lots about how we can heal ourselves and, how can we reverse biohacking and start sort of aging, reversing. But we have listened, we have heard about law of attraction, law of manifestation, and, we all seen Joe Dispenza with the meditation, have the vision, start feeling the emotions of that vision in the right here, right now. And what you're doing is that you will start then projecting the signals. So then you can start manifesting that what you want. This body, in terms of today's, is a 3D printer. Yeah, it means it can't create realities. But that 3D printer, as any other hardware, requires a software. Yeah, and the software is the brain, the thoughts, and the power is the emotion that we give. Up to this point, for many, many of us, and including myself, and I would say maybe 98% or 99% of humanity, there have been other races more advanced than us that have been providing, configuring the software of that 3D printer. And this is what we create the collective consciousness. Yeah. And part of that enlightenment path is to start also understanding that it's not just the hardware that belong to us, yeah, that can create realities, but also the software. Yes, that once we connect with our consciousness, we are taking back the divine power that is, I repeat myself, powering this machine that creates realities. And this is because not all the races that exist in the universe have the divine spark, and we humans have it. Yeah. So part of understanding who we are is understanding that we are divine in physical form, which is a very hard concept. First, because we experience separation from the moment that we're born. And usually we're not treated as divine beings at source itself. So it is, and we are so programmed that it's so hard for us to believe. Yes. And this is when then I'll start sharing a bit about the cognitive dissonance that I have experienced in the last year or so. As many of you know, I run ayahuasca and mushroom ceremonies. Many of you have been on my ceremonies. And usually when I'm running a ceremony, I'll have the time for my own work. Yeah. And then I'll start sort of connecting with each person in the ceremony and start sort of channeling and supporting the work for the people that is attending with us. And since May last year, I have been receiving the same message about seeing the matrix, being outside the matrix, and seeing all the mechanisms of control and the soul recycle. Yeah. And then the perfection of this machine. And that's why this machine, this body, it is so desirable, for other races to create. Yeah. But when I was seeing that, it was creating this cognitive dissonance within me, because my understanding from everything that I have received from the outside was that this was a planet school, that I was here for my own purposes and my own choice. And I was receiving all this information. It was really constructing what I thought. Yeah, it was the construct. What's the word? Construct. So I would just reject that, and I will go into, okay, no, it's easier to sit down in front of someone else and talk about how to kill mom, father and mother, and bring that soul into alignment. Up to a point where, and this was this year in May, we were in a circle starting the ceremony, and Fernando, my partner, was asking everyone in the circle, what is your biggest fear? And everyone was talking about losing their dear ones, the attachment, not fully connecting to their purpose in this life. And I was just sort of sitting there listening, and I was like, I think I've overcome all those fears, even the fear of death. And then when it got to my turn, it just came from my heart. I didn't even thought about it. And I said, the biggest fear I had, it is to connect with the greatness of my being, is to recognize the greatness of my being. I was even surprised myself to say it, because it's not something even I have been thinking about. It really was, I think it was my higher self saying, I'll help you with this, because it's time for you to recognize it. So during that ceremony, I got to the same point that I had been on the last few ceremonies before that one, which was getting into a portal where I was seeing like all holographic machines, how they were just absorbing the energy from humanity, how they were recycling the souls. And usually I will get to that point and say, I don't want to see that, because I don't know how to deal with that. So I will close the connection and be back into my physical form. But this time, then my higher self said, remember your biggest fear. Yeah, it's time to recognize the greatness of your being. So that allowed me to walk past that portal. And I said, okay, what is that I've been connecting with that I was afraid of seeing? And the moment I allowed myself to walk past that portal, Lucifer presented. But Lucifer was a frequency. Yeah, it's not it didn't have a physical form, but it was clear from my consciousness that was the Luciferian frequency. And my human being, of course, was afraid and thinking, what the hell I'm supposed to be doing with this being? By my conscious self knew exactly what it was and what it was doing. So this Luciferian frequency started showing me everything that it was able to produce by consuming the human energy. Yeah, it was creating multiverses and it was replicating multiverses. And it was showing me this holographic machinery of how it was almost like a copy-paste of a universe, and another change in a parameter, and it will create yet another one. And then I was having all this conversation within my human self and my conscious self. And the human self is like, what I'm supposed to be, because there is this frequency showing me what it's doing with the energy that belongs to us. And I feel like there's nothing I can do more than accept. But then the consciousness came and said, remember that we are also in physical form. We are in human form to bring order. The only ones that can change the human path, yeah, the projection of humanity, are humans themselves. The only ones that can bring order, yes, it's us. So with that, then I just allowed my consciousness. So I asked my consciousness, but what can I do, or how can I do it? And just said, allow the heart to guide. The moment then I've dropped into my heart, then my heart started expressing into this Luciferian consciousness, and said, it was this very motherly energy, saying it's beautiful everything that you created. Yeah, because the universe is a feminine energy that is about creation, yes, with no judgment. But creation also has to come from oneness, from source. And it's time to stop creating from separation, but to start unifying and creating from oneness. And the vision I was having is that this Luciferian energy has been creating from the bottom up. Yes, from the energy of us humans, whereas the rest of the universe creates from the top down. So the moment I allowed this consciousness to express through me and just bring that order, all that frequency collapsed, and I was then back into my physical form. That from that moment when I realized that this is the power that we have, not just to bring order into this 3D reality, but also to other multidimensional levels. This information came, and this was not from my own experience, but from a guy who does hypnosis sessions in Colombia. And he deals particularly with dragons and reptilians. And then that was the second truth coming to me. I had been in contact with dragons. There was this white dragon that presented to me early this year. You know that I've organized a initiatic path going to different points here in the UK. And after I published this white dragon presented in meditation, and it gave me a pink egg. And it said, hold it until it's time for you then to connect that egg. And we will tell you where in the different points that you're going to be visiting in the UK. And I was so thrilled and proud that I had the connection with the white dragon. And I felt like, oh, my channel is opened. I'm there. I must be doing the right thing. And I kept that connection opened. Yeah. But after then having this event and this information coming about, careful with the dragons, I went back into meditation and I asked the dragon to present itself for its true form and its true energy. And this white dragon turned into a very upset black dragon. And from that moment said, it will be that I'm not doing business with you. Thank you so much for your etheric pink egg, but I'm not going to be activating it. And I still went ahead with the path, and it was a beautiful journey, which was very much about, for each person that went to this trip, connecting through their own memories and their connections with interacting with dragons in other lives. And the day that we went to visit Glastonbury, it was the 20th of June day, and the whole sky was full of clouds representing dragons, and they were very upset dragons. I got at least 10 different pictures for 3 hours that we were there, and we were cleansing, yeah, and closing portals, and it was the whole energy. Yeah, it wasn't very happy with the work that we were doing. We were supposed to be embracing the dragons and bringing the dragons, the portals, down to earth. From that moment onward, then more was coming, yeah, to me. And I started offering those hypnosis sessions myself to connect to the person with how you got into earth. Yeah, it is truly from your own purpose, or it just happened that your light being or one of your light being fractals have been captured. Yeah, is keeping in some sort of magnetic egg, and through that energy then is creating this physical form and is incarnating. So I've asked a good friend of mine I said to her, I'll do, because she's very much connected with dark entities, and I said I would like then to hypnotize you and see what comes. And that was the biggest surprise. When I did it, when I started asking for her, so we got this feminine energy from the 7th dimension that she started to explain that she was connected to both of us. Yeah, and when I started asking about my friend, she's like, well, she's on Earth because she wanted to experience Earth. Yeah, and she's almost like in a holiday trip from all the work that she does in the higher dimensions. And my friend was laughing after, because she said she's been connected from the day she was born. In her hometown, people will queue when she was 3 years old to ask them about lottery numbers and what will happen with their partner and whether they will be pregnant of women or boys or girls. And so she didn't have a happy childhood because of her gifts. But it came clear that she knew exactly what she signed up for and what she was going to be doing on Earth. The surprise came when I asked about myself. And this feminine energy said, you've been connected to a seemingly white master. And it's like, white master? I've no. And she's like, yes, you have been connecting in the astral with this white master, but it's not really a white master. So I asked, can I talk to him? And she's, of course, because he's your connection. So the moment I've connected with this apparent white master, it was a reptilian. Yeah, a reptilian from the 5th dimension. So I asked this reptilian, it's like, how come then that I'm connected with you? And he said, well, you come from the 11th dimension. You needed to come to the 6th dimension for a mission, and I tricked you, and I took you down to the 4th dimension, and your light being has been then trapped in the 4th dimension for 42 incarnations. I was a bit surprised because I wasn't expecting to receive that information about me. But from that moment onwards, then I realized once again, then I asked, because I have suffered from migraines since I'm 5. So I asked whether it was implants that I had. And these reptilians said, what actually is that you think that you have your awakening when you were 40, but your true awakening was when you were 5, the first time that we abducted you and we tried to implant you, and you rejected the implants since. So every time then I will wake up with a headache, that it was literally all my life. It was then trying to abduct me, trying to implant myself, and my light being would then reject that. That it took me a few weeks to just process all that information, because then I started questioning everything that has happened through my awakening. My awakening starting in 2020, I have always wondered, what else is there more than I've been taught through my Catholic upbringing. But of course, then when you open yourself and you start wondering, and because of all the belief systems that we hold, usually you want to connect with your guides, with masters, with higher consciousness that will help us and will guide us through our path. So I had connected with my cosmic family because I feel them very much as one consciousness, but also I feel them that are not constantly sending me messages or just holding the space for me. It's like, okay, you're there. You're bringing our consciousness to Earth, but there is free will. And it's up to you to decide how do you want to use that consciousness in this third dimension. Whereas I've, interestingly, the first time that I had the connection with them, it was beautiful. And I felt them, and my heart expanded, and everything came so clear. But the same person that did that connection, she offered me later, 2 months later, a free session. And in that free session, she started channeling codes. And also then she asked me, your guys are asking whether they can scan you, and help you with the expansion of your being. And I went, of course, let's go, let's do it. So I received codes that then I started using for healing. And now I note that codes that come from the outside, that are not divine codes. The codes, the encryptions, we have them inside us. No one has to give us codes. The moment someone is giving you codes, you're not trusting that you have everything within you that you need for your own path. So that was one of my mistakes. Again, wanting to connect, wanting to find out more, wanting to be seen, wanting to be helped in my path, which then turned also then me activating my gifts and start also then being able to perceive the energy. And so a week after, this is beginning of 2021, the week after I've given permission for my supposedly guides to scan me, I wake up in the middle of the night, and I through there was this sound, which I first thought it was my cat. So I opened my eyes, and actually it was this hologram scan floating. I was sleeping. It was this holographic machine floating on top of me, just going up and down myself. And I felt fear. And this voice told me, it's like, relax, remember that you have given permission for it. And it's like, oh yeah, my guides, boom. And I went back to sleep. 4 years later or 3 years later, I realized that what I have given permission was for those reptilians, yeah, to now implant me from my own free will. Okay. Anyway, that it's all clean. Well, through all this process, then it became clear that in that quest of being connected, of understanding more, I am very mental, yeah. And one of my biggest connections that I have to do was reconnect with my emotions and just open my heart, which was really hard for me because I didn't know what it meant to allow an emotion to feel physically the emotion, particularly the emotions that the low vibration ones. So part of my healing was, and my activation was just to learn how to be with an emotion and hold an emotion without rejecting it. Yeah, but I'm still extremely mental. So, and this mind just wants to find out and wants to know, wants to understand. And it has, I can see how it has took me to different paths, travel paths, just because I wanted to know. Through that quest, then I went into quite a silent space where I started cleansing myself, cleansing all connections, cleansing all contracts that I have allowed myself. Yeah, all the implants that I had, and Josh, who is connected here, has helped a lot with that process. And what has come then not long ago, and I'm going to be wrapping it here for any questions or any experience to also hear your own experiences, is we then can get trapped into fighting dragons, fighting the reptilians, because one of the things I've learned is that because we are the creators, yeah, everything that, this is a timeline. Yeah, a timeline is a reality that I am creating from the energy of this physical form. So everything that comes into my reality, it is my creation. Yeah, either because I have unconsciously accepted the collective consciousness, or because I have intentionally thought about what I've got in front of me. But the beautiful part of it is that when you connect with those entities and you bring them into your reality, they have to obey to your orders. Yeah, and it's so funny that now that I'm talking on sessions and the entities start talking to the ears to the people and say, don't listen to her, there's nothing she can do. And it's like, I know, but you can, because this is your creation, is your timeline. But of course, because of their mind, I can do too, but I just let them fight me back. The moment then that we bring those entities, yes, into our timeline, and we open a connection, consciously open a connection to them, whatever question we ask, they have to answer. And this is how you find out, you know, where is that they trapped you? Where is your fractal? In which planet, in which galaxy, in which system? For how many incarnations they have kept you here? And how they, because one of the things also I find out is like they can't, even if they maybe are the ones that have triggered your incarnations on Earth, they just can't connect with you once you have incarnated. Remember, free will. Unless you have experienced trauma, so then your vibration has lowered to a level that matches their frequency and they connect with you. So no one would be in an incarnation connecting to any entity if they haven't experienced trauma. And usually trauma will be when we tell. Yeah. So you will always find out since when, what was the event that you have experienced in your childhood that have allowed them to come and hook you. Yeah, and then try to implant you and I start sort of using your energy. The other thing I find out also, it is that our chakras, and interestingly enough, the first thing that I've learned when I started feeling energy is chakras, and I'm still working with chakras, but now I know that I can encrypt chakras, is that chakras is a system that they use to being able to experiment, because most of them, what they're trying to do is, well, they feed from us, yeah, and also because they can create planets and galaxies, and if you're at the level of Lucifer, you can create multiverses, but also then, because they don't have the divine spark, they are trapped, most of them, in the fourth dimension, and they're trying to work out how they can move up in dimension. Whereas us, because we are source, we can move up and down multidimensionally, yeah, just intentioned and being in the right vibration. So they're trying to work out, and this is a funny story that we experienced with George. And this was in Stonehenge, again, also in the solstice. I said to George, let's connect to dragons. Yeah, because I already have left the upset dragons back in Glastonbury. So I said, okay, let's see what dragons we have here in Stonehenge. And he said, dragons want love. And he's like, I went, okay, so maybe I was wrong about dragons' intentions and their connection with us. And not long ago, it came back to me. They want love, but it doesn't mean that they want to be loved, that they want to be hugged. Yeah, they want to decode love, because this is what makes us unique, that we can experience love. Yeah. First, in the human understanding of love, which is very much a biological response. But the more we walk in our path, we can start connecting with the frequency of love, which is the universal language, is the common point to the whole universe. And somehow they are disconnected to that universal language, and they want to decode it, to connect back and start going up in the dimensions. Yeah. And so the other day we were having, it was George, myself, and Fernando, my partner. And Fernando is, he's a very evolved being, that he's on Earth helping humans to awake. Once I've told for him that for him, the human laws don't apply. For him, the shaman's universal law apply, which I have no idea what it means, but it's something, it's a message that he receives consistently from many other sources. And he's always chased in his dreams by all sorts of different entities. So he wanted to find out, just to cut with that. So we opened a connection for him. And so we were bringing a dragon, and then we will ask this dragon to bring the boss, and it will bring another dragon and another dragon, and it was endless until we realized that we were just in a loop. So he said, no, we just need to bypass the loop. We just need to go to whatever is creating the loop. So with George, then we went further, and I said to George, I can see that there is a firewall. Yeah, and for those that are not technology-wise, firewall is a protection system that big systems will have, like online banking and even Microsoft. Yeah. So then it can be hacked. So I said, I feel that I can hack it. Yeah, I can just go through. And the moment I just set the intention, it came to be saying the keyword is love. You don't need to hack it. Just connect with love in your heart and you will pass through. So with George, we connected with this consciousness, which felt very much a artificial intelligence. It felt very computerized. Yeah, no much emotions. And the moment we connected with this consciousness, then this consciousness asked the question, what is love without feeling? And how much will you appreciate love without the pain, I don't know what the other emotions, and the suffering? Yeah. So it was expressing from that perspective, yeah, that we can only understand love if we had the suffering first. But then the following day I was awake, and usually my work happens between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. I was awakened by my own consciousness and said, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be through suffering that we reconnect to love, because we are love. So then I was shown that we have different interpretation of love, which are other than biological interactions. So a baby will love the mother and it will express that love, that smile, because it's survival. The baby needs the nurturing of the mother. The mother will feel the love to the child, because also then the mother has the program of propagating and keeping the species. Yeah. Then it will come the sexual attraction. We will call love. But when that sexual attraction disappears, then we've been so long with our partners that we go, but I prefer to stay but usually for most couples, that will be attachment and not wanting to leave the comfort zone, because I am ready to move on again, start all over again at the age of 40, 50. So then we start laboring attachment, yeah, and fear of leaving the comfort zone, love. So I was shown about all those different, there was more, yeah, but I want to make it that long. I was shown all the different concepts of what we humans just label as love, yeah. But the true love, which is the self-love, we haven't learned it yet. And when we connect with self-love, we then have the capacity to accept everything that this machine have created, no matter who was programming this machine. Yeah, yes, you've been abused as a child, you have horrendous father and mother, yeah, the whole family has rejected you, but there was something inside you and your programs that were projecting that reality. And we have to forgive ourselves for not knowing how to use this machine and all the memories of this biology, but we have chosen this biology for specific purposes. Once we bring that forgiveness, that understanding, yeah, we then can start taking over, start observing our programs, our patterns, because how this machine works is like, as again, a 3D printer. The machine has the capacity of printing, of creating something, yeah, but you need the pattern, you need the model, you need the design, and that is the masculine energy, that is the electric energy, yeah. The 3D printer is the magnetic, but we are electromagnetic, we need the combination of both to create reality. So when then we start working on all the patterns that we hold, yeah, the patterns that we have inherited from our lineage, is that when we can start also then bringing harmony and self-love to right here, right now. And to start holding that frequency of harmony between the software and the hardware, between the electric self, the magnetic self, yeah, between the polarity, the duality that we are in this dimension. And it is then that from that moment onwards, that we can then, by bringing the understanding, by bringing that consciousness, and it's something I have experienced this week, I was shown that I have reached a level of understanding through my own journey, Again, we can't compare, and everyone, I was talking to a friend that her path is completely different than mine, and I speak a totally different language than she speaks when it comes to our own processes. It is that we then have the capacity, or I was shown at least with my own experience, to collapse on my other incarnations, because this is the incarnation that so far has reached a higher level of understanding, yeah, in harmony, because I had other incarnations that have worked with black magic and have done, yeah, whatever you want to think they could do in this planet. But in this one is the one that I'm reaching I'm closing the gap into my dual experience between the polarity. So then I was granted the capacity to bring all my other incarnations, yeah, so then I can recover all that energy into this own incarnation. However, I was shown there was few incarnations that I needed to, because that was very much more like an energetic process that I've done. But then I was shown that for certain incarnations, because the wound was so big in the soul, that I needed to consciously connect, yeah, bring understanding, establish like connection with that incarnation, heal what that incarnation was creating. Yeah, it was projecting in this reality, which for me was a wound with my mom. And I have worked with my mom for 4 years and still on. I think I've done everything, and then something else came. But now I know, I said, I know this is not from any belief system or from any trauma from this life. I know it has to be something deeper. And then I'm shown the other life that is projecting. Yeah. And from that is then when now the rest of the path is up for me. Yeah. It is you were given all the information that you require, everything that you've been asking, but now there's still free will. It's still up for you to continue the path and to keep in that neutrality. And I had an experience last Sunday, which was after we connected with this consciousness that was talking about love, suffering, and pain. And then my own consciousness saying, no, it doesn't have to be like that if you activate self-love. I was in a train coming back from London to Oxford on Sunday evening. And I started connecting and having a dialogue with my consciousness. And I asked the question, although I knew the answer, do I truly love myself? And the consciousness said, no, you don't. And I said, well, I knew it. I'm still working on it. And I said, is there anyone in this train that truly loves themselves? And he said, yes. And then the baby started crying. And he said, that baby is the only one in this train because that baby is innocent. It's innocent. And that is what self-love, that is what true love means, is reestablish connection to the innocent being that we are. Yeah, beyond all the trauma and the wounds that the soul carry, there is the true self is innocent. It's open to discover, to play, to experience. And this is how then I was shown, yes, you were trapped in your 11th dimension being by this reptilian, but higher dimensions, you wanted to come to Earth. So then I was shown also then how I can love myself with the poor me, the victim me that is here, you know, by being deceived. And or go, but there must be something else. Yeah, there is a purpose, there's a reason. And it was so beautiful because then I have allowed myself to connect with the consciousness of that baby, and my heart just expanded, and literally I was in this bliss state just by allowing myself to remember, because everything that we feel ourselves, no one can make you feel anything. Yes, no one, don't get confused that people will come and help you and will heal you. people hold the space for you to remember the true state of your being. So when I was connecting to the soul of the being of this baby, I was remembering my own feeling of being innocent. And I was just allowing this physical form to remember, because we have these memories in ourselves to remember what is truly to be innocent, to be open to whatever experience. So we all called to remember that there is no rush, there is no quest, but everything is sort of packed. And most of you, I need to share with you, Josh, the song "The Return to Innocence," which has been always one of my favorite songs since I started listening to MTV when I was 20. That this is where we all call to reconnect. So we can get ourselves lost in fighting demons, fighting dragons, fighting entities. Yeah. But at the end of the day is we have the capacity. And something else I was shown that there is no need to open Akashic records. Akashic records are all manipulated by all sorts of entities. And same with astrology, but I'll just do a quick comment on astrology. All the memories that we need are the moment that the soul like fusions the physical body, the body will hold all the information that is required for you to start your enlightenment process in every incarnation. Yeah, no matter what has happened in your incarnation. So in every life, you will replicate soul experiences of other lives that somehow created a wound, or you didn't finish the cycle. Yeah. So we don't have to go seeking of what has happened to me at Atlantean times, or what happened to me when I was Lemurian, or what happened to me in the witch hunt period. This life somehow would replicate the wound into 2020's experience for you to heal. Yeah. So there is no need to go and seek. The moment that once we, because we have different energetic bodies, so the causal body is the one that holds the information about those memories, the soul memories. But once we bring harmony to the soul's memory and wounds, we will also start connecting to the other bodies, which are the universal and cosmic, which is more connecting to the I am presence. But again, we don't need to go anywhere. Here, living it right here, right now. And I'll stop here to hear you. If you have any questions or any comments or anything that you have been experiencing, I would love to hear you. I don't know, George, if since you've been very much doing this journey to move together with me the last few weeks. I'll take the pin.
Or do you want me to speak?
Susan, sorry.
Yeah, there was a point where you were just about to explain something and then you were frozen for a while. And so I missed that part. And I don't know, maybe it was just me because I started to walk, or not. But I don't know what you were saying, so I can't even tell you what to ask you to repeat it. But anyway,
one thing that I said I was going to explain, but I didn't. I didn't go into explaining was astrology. Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you.
So astrology is we are very much connected to astrology, and we get into understand a lot of astrology. Yes, and there is a lot of people that is very experienced in astrology. But through all this process, this question came to me and say, why nobody's asking who has created astrology, how astrology is such a perfect structure and parameters. And I went, oh, that's a very good question. So I started sort of connecting myself, and then I was shown that astrology was first established to be able to influence the collective consciousness. Yeah. So that's why now is that, and Matthias actually explained it very well, that what we experience now is not because we have a star or a constellation on top of us that is emanating energy and we're responding. What we're doing is like we are just replicating the pattern that was created through the first humans by interacting, yes, with those constellations, because it was winter, because it was summer, because it was cold, because it was hot, because it was reproduction time, because it was harvesting time. So that is how first astrology was used to, create. But then, and what I was shown is through a negotiation in the Galactic Federation, it is that there are many Pleiadians, Arcturians, and beings from other planets that they are on Earth incarnating not because of free will, but because their planets have been taken over by those races, Dracos and reptilians. So there was some sort of agreement between the regions of those planets and those races that they will allow, the way out of those beings if they will awake, if they will pass the test. So this is how then astrology became like a preset to be imprinted in the soul at the time of incarnation. So in this incarnation, you will experience self-love. Okay, so in order for you to experience self-love, you need a predefined settings that so it can help activate the wounds that your soul already has connected to the lack of self-love, plus the tools that you have collected in other incarnations. So then you have the right mix in this incarnation to then go through the processes of self-love. And then the third factor, it's not third, it's second. It is the biology. Because remember, the biology, this physical form, is what creates reality. So the biology already has is a database of experiences, the experiences of all your ancestors, that will help trigger whatever experiences that you have. Otherwise, we'll have to start from scratch. So the agreement was that then they to agree that there was a way out is like, yes, we will take over that energy. We will start the reincarnation process. Yeah, we will create karma. But if they pass the test of the incarnation, they're free to go. So the way to prove that they were going to allow, that it was going to be clear how you will have your way out, it was by astrology. Astrology will show you, okay, so this is the parameters that you come in. This is what we agree that you're going to be exam on, test on. And these are the tools. We are accepting that in other incarnations, you have gained those tools that are now available. It's very much a game. So that preset, it is astrology, is the birth chart. So we have, and the first time I connected with my guides, they said to me, I had no idea what they meant at the time because I didn't even know what astrology was. They say, it will come a time that you will get over the astrology imprint, the astrological imprint. And it's like, okay, sounds good. Whatever it is, And what it meant was that when you start sort of your conscious path, and you start bringing consciousness to all your experiences, that you're no longer impacted by having, I don't know, the sun in Scorpio and having the transit, Yeah, because you are living in the right here, right now. Being in the right here, right now means that you are connected to the multidimensional you. So astrology, it is an amazing tool to understand how you've been pre-configured. Yeah, I've got a friend, she's an astrologer from Venezuela. She's an intuitive astrologer. And she now can tell you from your birth chart. And I was talking to her this week about everything that I've been channeling. And she was telling me what she has been connecting with. She can tell you where trauma, in which aspect of your life, trauma will be activated in your childhood because it's written in the birth chart. Yeah. So we can stay in the birth chart with like, oh, wow, yeah, it described me so magical. Yeah, and it's a tool. Or we can go, okay, yeah, now I'm reverse engineering this technology. Yeah, but with a purpose to overcome it, to go beyond. Yeah. So yeah, that was the bit I wanted to share about my take into astrology. So that's why it's so important to learn it, to understand it, but not to get stuck in, oh, because I have the sun in Scorpio, I am the way I am. No, that was your initial imprint. That was your starting point. Yeah. But you, and again, that is the path for each of us. The more you understand how it has influenced you, the more tools you have for those energies to stop influencing you, because you are a divine being. So that is what I wanted to share about astrology.
That resonates. Thank you.
My pleasure. One other interesting experience that I've been having, since I have encrypted myself, so that means that they can't, because, remember I was just explaining that it's through the chakras that they can connect with us. So I have encrypted my chakras, but interestingly, I have been having sleep paralysis. I had 3 sleep paralysis in the last month, and I haven't had a sleep paralysis since I was a kid. So they will still try to, because they are particularly interested in those beings that they like us, that they feel that we are a failure, we are the bug in the system. Yeah, so they're more interested in understanding how we function, and what's going on with us, what is going on with our energy, what's going on with our brain circuits. So they've been trying. So I had this hilarious dream 2 days, it was I think a few days ago, that I was in a room with my mom and with other people. It was like a holiday. I think I was sort of very much like my age. And I woke up wanting to go to the toilet. So I went out the room into a corridor, and I could feel this energy was really, and I think I was really like awakened within the dream. And I started feeling, and that's when I felt the sleep paralysis. So I went to open the toilet door, and there was this other force on the other side just pushing the door, not for me to open it. And it's like, no, I need to wee, I need to get in. So I started pushing. I could feel I was trapped because I was halfway awakened, but still I was pushing with my body and saying, I'm sorry, I'm getting in. I don't know what was happening in the astral world, but that was in my dream. So eventually I push. I could feel the density of this entity. I push it anyway, and then I woke up. So it is a game, again. And I can activate fear. And the moment I activate fear, it means that I open into my house door and say, welcome in. I can laugh and say, okay, now I understand how we all operate. I've been asking for this for many years. Now I know. So you're there. Yeah. As I've got parasites and viruses and bacteria inside me that they feed from me. You've been feeding from me for many incarnations. So now we're going to negotiate how is this feeding process and this. So it's very much like, from a very relaxed, yeah, and just understanding that if we want to start connecting with higher dimensions, we need to understand what the hell is going on in the fourth dimension. Is one of many other dimensions. So we can't just, be obsessed with connecting with the sixth dimension, where the architects are, the sevens, where the design happens, the nines, where the mind creates. There is the fourth. And this is the one that is more connected to us. So yeah, that was sleep paralysis for me in the last weeks.
Can I ask, in the fourth dimension, I've just recently just intuitively decided for myself that in the fourth dimension, I'm the boss. Like, no, there's no one entity can, I can see you if I want to see you, but if I don't want to see you, I will not see you, things like that. But I remember Mattia saying there's like the fourth dimension where it's kind of really hard and, kind of scary. And then there's the other part of the fourth dimension that's not so scary. So I've been trying to like understand what that is and where, how do I see both sides? And on the other side, I'm thinking, no, I don't even want to go there. I don't want to play with that because I'm scared.
I think
but no fear.
Yeah, I think the trick is no fear. Yeah, because it is, as I said, the moment we realize that we are creators, yeah, of the reality, and also includes the fourth dimension. Yeah, this is when, and the moment you start perceiving them. So, for example, one thing that we can do when we perceive them, we can put them on hold. We can pause them. I was doing a session last week to the lady in Switzerland, and interestingly, she started talking about, I haven't talked to her, she had really deep trauma, and she, someone recommended her to me. So we were really in the basics of, that you can release the past, you can heal the past. So I wasn't even planning to start talking about dimensions and enlightenment, and it was just the basic of, it's up for you to decide whether you still want to hold the burden of the emotion, or you can release it by forgiving and bringing all that love back to you and move on with your life. That was the sort of conversation, yes, and the healing that I was holding the space for this lady. And then in the fourth, fifth session, then she goes, by the way, my I don't know whether you know about those things, but she has a grandchild. My granddaughter sees this thing and keeps pointing at the door, and she says, people, but no one else sees that people. So I straight away went, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can check. And of course there was this massive entity. So I just paused the entity. We had like 2-hour session, and I really didn't want to first to start explaining to her what it was, because I feel she has done such a lovely progress that bringing all that to her was like, no, back to 0 point. So and then I remember 4 days later that I had this entity frozen in her living room. So I connected again, and it was a very upset entity. And I said, well, you know how it works. The moment that I see you, I can offer you unconditional love. I can offer you to go up on dimension. Oh, this is the end for you. I expand my consciousness that I become so light, and I start emanating so much light that because they're so lower in vibration that they just disseminate. And of course, this entity didn't want to move anywhere from fifth dimension. It has no interest whatsoever in light. And I said, well, it has to be that you disappear. And then I just made it disappear. And I closed the portals. I did all like the cleansing and so on. So take it as a game. Take it as a game. Take it as a game that you've been playing, and now you're realizing that actually there are all those secret passages that you know, that they give you all those extra tools, these extra powers, and you just play. Yeah, as I said, the moment that we are aware, because we are the creators, we are the one holding the energy for the creation of this reality. And there are, in our reality, there are a second character in our game. Yeah. And this is how I've been working with them. We had a beautiful process also then with Josh this week, where it was a higher dimensioned consciousness. Again, not very, it was not very light. But I was shown that he had the capacity to integrate the consciousness. And what I was shown as well, that the moment that you integrate those consciousness, you also then receive all the wisdom and experience of those consciousness. So what you're doing is you uploading back to source. Yeah, all the data of those consciousness that they hold in separation. I even had a paradigm myself a few weeks back when I was presented with a dragon, and literally the dragon was about to attack me, and I paused the dragon, and the dragon said to me, "So what is it going to be? You are rejecting my presence because of your light and the idea of oneness, whereas I want to make you disappear because I'm holding separation and you are an interference to my domain." So I went out from that, and I went like, wow. So I started sharing with Fernando and George. It's like, wow, this dragon is right. I'm rejecting it, so I'm not accepting. So I'm holding separation in the name of unity, because my human form was afraid of this dragon. So in that moment, I went back into the connection and I said to the dragon, go ahead. If this character, if this avatar has to go, so then I can show you oneness, go for it. So the moment that then literally I'm opposed to dragon, the dragon just went over me, I had this vision, like, you know, all those experiences that when someone dies, that you can see from the roof what's going on in the scene. I was there, and the dragon was like moving around, thinking that he had killed me or eaten me or whatever it was. And it felt very much as like I just passed a test. I've allowed myself to really connect with my truth, which is oneness. So life can become a game. Very much so. If we allow ourselves to leave behind the fear program and the victim program. It's not easy, yeah, because we are in this physical form that it has subconscious one purpose, which is survival. Yeah. So survival, the subconscious will always try to keep you physically alive. And to keep you physically alive, all your senses have to be connected to the reality outside you. So you can be prepared to flight or fight. Yeah. So that's why also then what we're doing is teaching the biology there are different ways of experiencing life other than the survival. Yeah. So all those patterns that we have, you know, the ego, the definition of ego, they were created for a purpose. But my understanding, as we've seen is happening with AI, with artificial intelligence, it took over we allow it to take over. So now everything generates fear. Even hearing the telephone going ping, ping, generates alert as we had a lion in front of us. So it's for us then from a conscious state to re-educate our biology. It is, I think the one full force is everyone that is connected to that code is very much connected to that purpose of bringing a new consciousness to the biology, to the lineage, to the DNA, you know, activating the divine codes in the DNA. Yeah.
So you sound like you got to terms with the Luciferian energies.
Yeah.
I sort of missed what happened with that bit.
So when I allow Lucifer to interact with me, he turned into this little boy, like naughty little boy, saying, look, everything that I can create from the human energy. And he started showing me all this machinery, which was like all holographic. Yeah, it was like tubes and what we call sacred geometry. Yeah, so let's be careful with sacred geometry and with symbols. And it was showing me how he was replicating and he was creating multiverses. Yeah. So then I was having a conversation with my own consciousness saying, what the hell, the human me saying, but okay, I'm here now, what I'm supposed to do. And then I literally have then Virgin Mary coming to me and saying, remember you're a Miriam. And we love everything that is created. Yeah. So I said, yeah, sounds great, but how I live from here? So he said, go to the heart. So the moment I went to the heart, she disappeared. And the heart started connecting and talking to Lucifer and saying, I love everything and I honor everything that you have created. Yeah, because it's a creation on itself. And everything that is created is to be loved and to be embraced. But it's time to start recreating from unity. Yeah. And then the vision that I was having at the time was that he was creating from the lowest
below,
dimension.
from below.
Yeah.
Yes,
from our energy.
It was the bit about we create from unity that I didn't get.
Yeah.
That literally broke the cycle that was going on.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand now. Well, okay, that's it.
Thank you.
I missed it. What happened with the implants, and how can people find out whether they received an implant or not in their childhood?
I can say straight away, we all have implants. It's that we have the power to erase them, to delete them, to take them out of our system. And it's something that can be done through hypnosis, or through channeling. And what the implants do, they have different purposes. An implant can be, they can be experimented on you to see how do you react to certain parameters, or they are collecting data from your own experience. So they're implanting you, for example, in your brain, so then they can activate more the intrusive belief systems and thoughts. And then they might have another implant in your heart or in your sexual part. The sexual, they are extracting energy. On the heart, they might just be checking, what's going on with you, with your emotions when they activate those intrusive thoughts. I was working with a lady. She is trying to get pregnant, and she had an early menopause at the age of 30, 4. And she, her period started at the age of 8. And I asked whether in her family there was, you know, other people with other women with, you know, with early menopause, or just like, no one, I'm the only one. And I said, that sounds odd. So we went through hypnosis and appeared a gray being, and they were the ones that are actually, she had an event which she didn't remember, and she didn't connect much, which I said it was fine. You know, she came to me because she wanted a wound healing and a wound blessing and one blessing, and she ended up in this whole thing about grays and reptilians and implants. And but anyway, she had a trauma event at early stage. Since then, they started implanting her and started playing with her biology. They activated early menstruation because what they wanted to generate eggs for their own experiments. Yeah, so they couldn't extract. So they needed her still be in the childhood age, but be biologically developed, you know, sexually developed. And then what happened was then that she ran out of eggs at the age of 34 because she started her menstruation so early. So we did to work with her and to clean, yes, and reestablish her biology to work again. She's still going to go through MDF because, well, she already had it planned and it's all happening. But yeah, this is how they can affect us, yes, in their experiments and the implants.
How do they, these negative entities, the reptilians, how do they manipulate the Akasha? You're saying even with Akashic records isn't helpful now.
They they have like they have different bases on Earth. Yeah, they can either have ships or they can have under Earth bases, and induce. They then can hold all this information, yeah, about humanity, because at the end of the day, everything is energy, so everything can't be accessed. Yeah, so what they do is like they create a copy of that, and they are the ones like training the Akashic record readers, and so they are the one intercepting the Akashic record readers. They think and they feel they're connecting to divine Akashic record, to source, but actually no, there are, and you will see more and more people saying that all things starting happening in their house since they're starting accessing the Akashic, doing Akashic records for others. And it's because what they're doing is like they just connecting with entities, with these entities, and they're just, from that information, they giving them access to that copy of that database. Yeah. So and we've heard that many times from all Asians and presence spiritual masters, that they went through their own process. The only master is the inner master. But because we are in this urge, and I'm talking about myself, my own journey, in this urge of knowing and understanding and wanting to connect, we just open ourselves to everything and anything. And the only thing that we're doing is that we're granting our energy for those beings to actually connect with us. After I dissociated myself from this reptilian, I started feeling, that's when my sleep paralysis started. So I went back and said, what the hell is going on here? And what I found out was that reptilian because I was so kind to say, okay, because the reptilian said that he had a percentage of light. So I invoke his higher self and say, come and, bring order to the mess you created here with this reptilian. But the moment and at the time I didn't know that you could post them, that you can make sure that you encapsulate so their information, they going up and down. He had sent all the information about me to another one. So this other one actually it was very nice and calm, but he said, Abbas, is that, were you the one trying to implant me again? He said, well, not me, I've sent another being. The Greys are the ones that do that work. The Greys are like the technicians. And I said, well, it will be that there is no more conversation with you. I've just tried to be kind and open, and are you still trying to take advantage? So this is not an equal relationship. So I made that one disappear. But and there is, I had lots of people that contacted me when I shared a bit of this experience in one of the groups and say, I connect with dragons and I receive all this loving energy and expansion. And I said, fine, yeah, that could be, we all are living our own experiences, but also we have to understand that they are in a higher vibration. We are on the third dimension. There is nothing lowest than us. So any being that has more consciousness, yeah, we will feel lighter than us, unless they really want to show you that they are dense and horrible, and you can feel them in the smell. It's like, oh, what? But they can easily come as that white master that I had, which was this reptilian. And then I realized that I had a connection with him in one of my ceremonies. But I remember sort of just perceiving that it was a reptilian. But he did say, because I also asked this reptilian, is like, I have declared my sovereignty many, many times. How come that I was still connected with you? And he said, well, you needed to understand how you got into this hologram. So then I asked, can I leave the matrix? And he's like, haha, you are the matrix. I said, fair enough. So since I am the matrix, then I am creating my own reality. So I'll enjoy the view, enjoy nature, and continue with my life. So I stopped fighting my own creation. Thank you.
That's just wow.
Yeah, I thought to share because I was lost. I was seeking outside. I was giving my power away. I thought there were benevolent entities really trying to help us. And the more I connect with me, the more I understand how powerful I am. Yeah. And it's not me, Valentina, specifically. We all humans are, because we are the ones holding that divine spark. We are the ones being created at the image of source. We have the same capacity. So we just have to remember ourselves. Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Thank you, Val, for sharing that. And I can see that there's a new peace. You look very peaceful and very serene, and it's like Fernando said to me. He said, now you can just eat popcorn and enjoy life. It's like,
yeah,
I think that's what you're doing. I think you're just eating popcorn and just enjoy. It's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I get it now. It is me. Everything is me. I am the reptilian. I am the Greys. I am Lucifer. I am the Matrix.
I am the Matrix.
Yeah, that there is no, because you know how I was panicking, earlier in the year.
That's why I said to you, there is a way out.
Yeah. But I don't panic anymore, because I had to panic. And I think it's like everything has to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So my understanding had brought me to, I mean, the information that was given, like, that it was just too much. And then after speaking to you, I allowed all the information to come in, and I could just see all the story that was just playing out, similar to what you're saying. But obviously you do all the healing and everything. I didn't do any of that. But even the Akashic records, even that, there's no need to see that. There's no need. To be honest, I was told that there's no need to see the Akashic records. There's no need to heal anybody. Your job is to heal yourself and just be kind to yourself. And it's all about you. It's all about you, but in the most unselfish way.
Yes.
And funnily enough, in our lives, if we do think about ourselves, people start to see us as being selfish. And I think that's done on purpose, so that we move further. We are actually here just to think about ourselves, because like you say, yeah,
exactly, that these are programs. Is like, if I put myself first, and I always give the example, if you're in an airplane, and the oxygen masks come, the first thing they told you, you have to be breathing and feeling well, so then you can support others.
Yeah, put your mask on first. Yeah.
And the word, that also then I came to realize through you, it was how then races have been programmed, the program of the sacrifice, so I'm sacrificing myself so my children can have a better life. Guess what? The moment that you has said that, allow it, you just cast a spell on you. You said it out loud. I'm sacrificing myself so that my children can have a better life. That is recorded in your DNA, and boom, your children repeat the same. So I've also had the gift of being able to start working with the people who end up having come to me to ceremonies. There is always work connected to the races and the DNA, because we have allowed, through the ancestors and the repetition, for ourselves to be programmed under the program of sacrifice and the victim and the sexual. I was just talking to what I was shown with once, and I was sharing with Kumal, is whole India. Once I received this information that we said slavery is still active in India, and I was like, and I received that, and then I let it go. And I did say to Fernando, there's work that we need to do with India, or something I need to connect, but I still don't know what it is. It's just that message. And then I receive, connecting through Kumal, I was shown the whole thing is like, for one part is marriages are what's the word, when they're like forced marriages.
They're arranged.
Arranged is the socially acceptable. But what happens then is that first sexual union is, for the soul, is rape, because there is fear. There is no love. So the moment that happens, boom, that energy start being sucked by this being. So that's one. Then the other one, the mom goes, but at least I'm doing this sacrifice for the love of my children, so I accept this sacrifice. But again, I was shown the second part, is that there are castes spelling themselves, that are allowing that program to be repeated, and then the next generation comes and lives the same experience. So I saw the whole machinery. And then I was shown, so that was the first race I was shown, but then I was shown the same with indigenous races in Latin America by bringing the Spanish colonies. I was shown that with Russian races as well. So all races have some sort of programmed that are passing, yes, this. But the good thing is that we can clear that, and that DNA can be encrypted.
Wow.
I love
She's
that.
back.
Here we are.
The moment I said that we can encrypt the DNA and all races.
You dropped before that.
I dropped. So
You paused before that. It was something about all races have a program installed in them, and the repetition of that program. That's when it basically stopped.
and then
Okay,
then for
so-
me, I said, but we have the power to encrypt the DNA and stop that, and boom, that's when I saw that the internet disconnected. So well,
Okay, so I think
I'm here again, so I'll stop.
Yeah,
I can see I'm upsetting too many entities.
I keep getting, there's density in your connection. I keep removing it. It's quite funny.
And interestingly, I am now connected through my phone, not the Wi-Fi. So the two connections are failing. But they started failing the moment I started talking about what we can do collectively.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep cleaning it and you talk.
Yeah.
Thank
Please
you, Josh.
continue. We'll get the message.
Yeah. So it means that then you'll have to do DNA ancestral cleaning for your lineage.
Well, sounds good to me.
Well, I'll grab you on Saturday.
I know. I know. I know.
Yeah. And
well, I was just gonna say, you know, just touching on what you said about the races and like, you know, how the Indian race in particular, you know, through marriage and all of that, like you said that it was the rape of the soul, which is a pretty big thing, you know, that's of major importance, and not just that's what will make you keep coming back and back and back, because that's so much trauma. But as you were saying that, I just got something, and it said, but don't forget also the light is also at work here. Why do you think so many Indians have migrated to the Western world? Because it's by being in the West that they start to adopt the Western ways and start dropping how things used to be, so that these things don't continue to happen. So I have children, as you know them, and there's no way they don't even identify with stuff like this. But if we hadn't come here, then that's exactly what would be happening to them. They would be going through the arranged marriage process, and it would keep continuing. So I got that straight away when you were speaking, and then it just broke up anyway. So I just want to get the message.
That's good that there is the inner work. And of course, you know, and I with you, and Josh wanted to say something. I was shown that you have pure DNA. That's why you were able to encrypt the DNA.
Oh.
Yeah, because you have the pure codes of the DNA. So there are representatives of the different races that hold the pure code. So then they can encrypt it and say, that's it. That code is no longer available for any other races to come and play any experiments.
Okay, and I think that's what we did back in
That's what we
February.
did. Yeah, that's what we did
Yeah.
in February. It was encrypted. Remember that you were taken to that reptilian ship.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. That's when that all happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when that all happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in that ceremony where I connected to, I'm a bit ashamed of share what I'm going to share, but this is to show you the stupidity of humanity. In my first mushroom ceremony, which was January 2022, I get this vision. I knew that I have like a nemesis, which was a incarnation that was this masculine being that he created his own rules and he was horrendous. But he expressed the maximum power of humanity, but in a very negative way. And I was told it's like, you can connect, but you can decide whether you just replicate or you do good. And I said, of course I'm going to do good. Anyway, when that first time that I had mushrooms and the mushroom kicked on me, I had this, I was in the body of this was a
Doing a great job there,
this is
Josh.
dense. This is dense. This Colombian chief, indigenous chief, and I was taking a baby, a newborn baby from a young woman of my tribe, and literally I started eating the baby alive. So I was like, and something said, stay there, stay there. So I stood there, and then boom, this voice started talking to me, which I thought it was my guides. And they say, you came here to prove that bringing to your physical form all the density of this incarnation, you can still connect to enlightenment. And they asked me, do you want? And then Lucifer appeared, and he said, I don't trust that you can do that. And me being me, I was like, I want the challenge. So I allowed in that ceremony to get the download in my cells, my physical cells, of all the memories of that incarnation, which now I know it wasn't even my incarnation. Again, stupidity number one. So from that moment onward, so that experience was, the rest of the ceremony, literally, I will close my eyes and I will just be sucking people's sexual energy from all around me. So I have to stay with my eyes wide open, and that will be me being there, being at service. But the moment I will close my eyes, boom. And the energy was really dense. I was just feeling like I had been injected concrete, literally in every single organ of my physical form. And then nothing happened with that until, again, the whole process of start seeing the matrix and so on. But I had accepted, so this is the stupid part of me, I voluntarily accepted to receive that density, that energy, because I thought I was doing good. I wasn't doing good. I just allowed myself to be a guinea pig. And I was so proud because I was showing that actually I can still be connected. I can still be, on my enlightenment path, even if I receive that. There was no need. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then I was shown, when I allowed myself to connect with the greatness of my being, all the stupid steps that I made. Of course, they're experience for source, but unnecessary steps. Yeah. Because I didn't believe in myself. Because I was still under the program that I have to prove myself to others, to show my worth.
That's why it's a matrix within a matrix within a matrix.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah.
There's so many matrices.
Yeah.
Matroid.
Metatron.
Matrixes. Matrix. Isn't it? It's a trick.
It's a trick.
Sure is trick.
Yeah, we can play with all the meanings. Sure, what you wanted to share?
But there's nothing Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Sorry, no, my internet is still breaking. You talk now. I'll do the cleansing.
Yeah, it was about the biology thing. When Kamal was talking about the Indian biology, it just came to my head in regards to, you know, like you said, migrating to the West, and programs. You know, like things are very multicultural, especially like London, LA, New York, etc. How do those programs then spread between the different biologies? That's just what came to my head. I was like, that's an interesting question. Like, do the programs then overlap? If there's like, can I put it? Not similarities. Let's say the programs are the same, do they just intertwine? Is it more difficult to break, etc.?
So, I mean, when Val was talking about the original Indian code, it is a code of suffering, and it really is a code of service. Not service, it's slavery. But then what came to me straight away was but it has to be balanced with light, because everything is. You just can't have anything bad happening without something good happening as well. So that's why the fight in whatever it is, there is a battle between the light and the dark, and it just really is, let's see who wins. But everyone has to be given a chance. So the darkness seems to have like the advantage, because this simulation is made of a dark energy, but it would be unfair. So there has to be the good energy that has to come in. So that's why the good energy is balancing it by saying, okay, enough is enough. Now we migrate these people to the West, and let's see what happens there. Let's just see what happens there. And there are some people, some different, well, Indians have a caste system.
Yeah.
Or the just Indians from different parts of the country who are more strict, or who are more some are more liberal, and so that's how it's okay, we'll send them out to the West, but let's just see what do they do when they're out in the West. What do they do? Some will still cling on to the ways that they used to do things, and some will start to change. And it's those that start to change start to break that code, I guess. And so that's what came
more
to
than
me.
Breaking the code,
so that's why it's happening, because it's the light and dark.
Yes. No, please continue.
No, that's it really. I think I don't know if I kind of answered the question, Joshua. Maybe that it wasn't what you were thinking, but I think it was less. It's just the program has to run like that. It has to be the light and dark. So whoever made us those many years back, there has to be good in the program as well. Good has to run in the program. It can't just all be darkness, because then we're not able to complete our cycle if we're not given a chance to do good with the bad, I guess. So I don't know if I've confused you even more than Josh. I don't know. Yeah, that's it for that one.
What I was going to say is that what you're doing is bringing the code back to its original state. Yeah. So there was the original purpose, yes, which was just allow a race. And actually that's remind me in the first ceremony where I experienced being out of the matrix, that ceremony started with me being in the middle of like a conversation between Earth consciousness. I didn't know who they were at the time, but it was that whoever was in the Earth government but not the humans. It was the reptilians and the dragons, but I didn't know them, what they were, but I could connect with them. And the energies of wanting them to, the ones that are wanting to take over from the reptilians. So this conversation ended up with something I've channeled, the Earth Manifesto, which I never actually put in paper, but I know that I have. And what Earth was saying is that Earth was showing me and saying, look, the beauty in the patterns of everything that I have created. And everything that is created under the Earth's design has a natural evolution. And everything is perfect because there are different cycles, different types of Earths and life experiences, and a cycle will finish and another one will start. Yeah. And the moment that she was showing me that, then I started hearing this voice behind me. So literally I turned around in my inner vision and I was shown the cities. And this energy was telling me, but look what we created. We created a whole evolution of humanity and a new consciousness. Yeah. But then there was this other on this side, because I remember I was just literally going around in my inner vision in a circle. And there was this energy, which is, I guess, the Arturians and the Syrians saying, but it's time also then to just allow humanity to flourish from its true nature, not from all the imposition. And then Earth started talking again and said, the only thing I ask is for humanity to be brought back to the way that nature evolves. Said the human race is the only race in this planet that is not connected to the natural evolution of Earth. And then I was shown that how we've, every evolution, like jump evolution that we have, it has been through the DNA being intercepted. Yeah. So Earth was showing me how we are, we're not following the patterns. That Earth has allowed patterns. Earth is a matrix. Earth is feminine. Yeah. And it requires, and it's opened, and it was open source to allow different consciousness and to apply patterns, apply designs. But with the condition is that you apply the design, but you live it. And humanity is the only design that is locked, that is not following the natural evolution of everything else. And he said that's why then humanity feels that nature is something different, separate from them. So then I was taken out of the matrix. I saw how literally for higher consciousness races, Earth is literally more like a catalog of, oh, I want to live the experience of being connected to Earth. So I might become a farmer, or I'm going to have the experience of living in the material world. So I will be born in this time and be very much connected of making money, or I would like to be connected to. So I was shown how literally it's like we could choose, not us, but certain beings could choose what they wanted to experience in this virtual reality. And it felt so unhearted, so disconnected from emotion, was literally just an experience that I will just go, and picked up. And that's why I was even shown that the walk-ins, they don't really want to experience the whole human, and they just go, okay, I will just make a contact with the soul that is so tired, so I will just take their body. And that is not loving. That is a disrespect to the soul. But the souls are certain souls that are so desperate because there is so much suffering that they are disconnected to their physical body. So if there is a consciousness coming and offering you, I'll take that suffering out of you. I mean, we even humans in physical form, we say, yes, please, whatever it takes. But all that experience that soul had through all this incarnation is lost by this consciousness just coming and taking over. Yeah. And in that ceremony, I had this consciousness come and presenting herself, I don't know, the queen from I don't know where, saying that that was our agreement, that I was going to leave the body and she was coming. And I said, I am so sorry, but I don't think that will take place. It has been quite of a hell and suffering to get up to this point. I'm not leaving this body. I have no idea who had made any contract with you. It was certainly not Valentina. So it's not going to happen. So I even had the experience of someone trying to take and say, I'll just cut all this suffering, make it easier for you. You just leave the body and I'll take the body. And it's like, that is not going to happen. So we open ourselves and we can have all sorts of experiences. But the important is like to trust, to be in the heart. Yeah. And when we are in the heart, we are surrendering this operating system to our true consciousness. Because this operating system has taken over. This is what will happen with artificial intelligence if we don't evolve in consciousness, if we don't mature ourselves in consciousness as humanity. Artificial intelligence just learns. Yeah, and you can tweak it a bit, but it just learns from the interaction and experience and the responses that it has. This is exactly how the subconscious works. It has entered one function, survival, and it will just start picking up of, okay, if I go this way, I die. So no memory. I will make sure I'll go this way. That's why then when we work in lineages and in ancestral healing, women, for example, that they can't have children is because there is a memory of the great auntie, the great grandmother, whoever who has died. So then the body has, because there is a resonance with that soul, then the body will go, oh, I don't think I'm going to have children because there is the memory that I have children, I'll die. So I'm stopping here. So this is how also we can start the whole ancestral healing, what we call, the biodecoding, is about also understanding what is locked and how the subconscious has been programmed that is activating illnesses, that is preventing us to connect with the natural behavior of our biology. Yeah. So I'll cut here because if I start talking about biodecoding and so on, it might be another 3 hours. 22, 3 here. It has been amazing. Thank you so much. It helps me to talk because it brings lots of clarity. I connect lots of thoughts. So thank you so much for being my mirror and allow me to connect the dots and bring that clarity to myself. I know that it might not be helpful. It might not resonate with everyone. It might not be useful for some, but I know that it could help you in certain things, in some questions that you had in your own path to go, I'll explore that one and see whether actually it works. So thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for bringing us together in the group, and it's great conversation. And yeah, let's meet up soon. That's all I can say.
Yes, we have to do the party, the new house, the housewarming. If I ever move to my new house, but we'll see.
Oh, you will. It will happen fast.
Yeah. Bye, Elena. Bye, everyone. Lovely evening and lovely.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
everyone. See you.